Hello everyone, and welcome back to the new Fresh Root YouTube channel. We're going to have a lot of content coming up on this channel with a lot of cool stuff. So feel free to drop a subscription and stay tuned so you don't miss anything. In this game, I have with me Drewbie. Drewbie, how are you doing today?
I'm excellent. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. You know, you're such a gentleman. You're so polite, but I have to pause the replay real quick because my volume is way too loud in StarCraft 2, so we're going to do that. But we're going to keep recording because we're having fun here. So it should be okay now. And hopefully you're with me on the replay, I'm hoping.
Yes. Okay.
Perfect. So happy to have you here. And what we're going to do this time, the other channel that's currently on the other video, I should say, that's currently on the channel, hopefully, is me and Katz. We did a little bit of analysis on one of his games. This one is going to be me and Drewbie. We're just going to cast. We're going to talk about a game that neither of us were involved with, neither of us have seen. But this is from the Korean qualifier for TSL4. I know. Do you know about these tournaments, Drewbie? About these TSL4 qualifiers?
Yeah, of course. I've been playing in the North America, Europe ones.
Fantastic. Hopefully you qualify.
Oh, thanks.
No problem, man. It'll be good to see a lot of Root players trying out for that. And of course, if you want to catch any of that, I usually try to cover some of it on my stream. So hopefully I can get some of your games in the future. But this is the Korean qualifier from a few days ago. This is the round of 32, I believe. This is game 3 of a best of 3 in between the top left-hand location. The blue Zerg player Coca and his opponent in the bottom right-hand location, the red Terran player Gumiho. The map is Entombed Valley. And now, Drewbie, I'm going to ask you a question. Are you ready?
I am indeed ready.
All right, here's your question. On TVZ in this map, what's your general opening? I'm pretty sure the spawn locations aren't forced across. When you generally scout, and what's your general strategy on this map? What do you think is a good, solid strategy for TVZ on this map? And do you like it as a Terran player?
Yeah, I guess this map's pretty good for TVZ. I think in tournaments it can't be like top. Both people can't be on the bottom, or both people can't be on the top.
Yes,
so
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's pretty nice for scouting. You don't have to scout too fast. You can just go check the expos, find the Zerg. So I like that. I hate scouting on 3-player maps because it takes forever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. This map is, it's easy to get a fast third base. It's a bit hard to survive those big, roach bailing all-ins because the ramp at the expo is so wide. And if they break that ramp, they're pretty much like right at your ramp to your main too. So yeah, maybe just holding all-ins is a bit hard on this map, but once you get to the mid and late game, it's pretty fun to play on this map. Cool. Just, you get those big, long, epic macro games with the wide open center, and can take like 6 bases.
You're absolutely right, and it's really refreshing actually hearing the word "fun" used by a player, because I don't hear that enough. But we see Gumiho going for a pretty greedy build, or at least I would think it's a greedy build, going 1 Rax, then adding on 2 expansions immediately. What do you think about this opening from him? Do you think it's like super greedy? If you were a Zerg player, would you let this happen?
Well, I don't think that the Zerg player knows what's going on, which is what the Terran player banks on most of the time.
So like if the Zerg player did scout this, would they definitely do something to make it not happen?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Like, roach bailing all in is pretty much the standard, or just if they went gas right when they made their pool, they can just make only Zerglings and try and bust you with mass slings.
Sure.
Both pretty annoying stuff to deal with. Like Gumiho's, he doesn't know what's going on. He hasn't seen the Zerg at all, and he's just walking over to his base. If any sort of all-in was coming, or the Zerg had speedlings, he would just die right now. But yeah, I like his build order. It was really greedy. It was a bit risky since he didn't wall in or anything, but now that he's walling off at his ramp with 4 barracks, he should be pretty safe against anything. And he's going to see that the Zerg's taking a fast third, so he can macro his ass off and not really be worried about getting attacked.
Yeah, you're right, and it looks like Gumiho, or I should say Coca, going for the vast third of his own. So he did get a Ling in there and scouted that third command center from his opponent. Looks like he's adding gases in his main base, adding gases in his natural expansion as well. We see double evolution chamber. And as far as what the Terran sees, he only got to poke up the front, only saw some creep, only saw the third base going up. Now, this map, the third, feels like it should be relatively easy to hold as a Zerg player, maybe because there's a ramp up there and it's a pretty long rush distance. But as a Terran player, seeing this third, if you're a Gumiho right now, what's going through your mind? Do you try to pressure this third, or do you just be like, all right, I'm getting a third of my own, I'm just going to focus on my macro and focus on my mid game? Yeah,
well, he pretty much, decided his fate already, going 3 command center and then 4 barracks like this. He's, walled in, and has no upgrades or anything right now, so he can't really be aggressive unless he wanted to go with unupgraded Marines, which doesn't end up too well.
No, you're right.
So, yeah, he's pretty much just forced to go for the double upgrades and, pretty slow factory. I can't believe he hasn't started stim yet. I like that he got the 3 gas geysers at the same time, though.
Not even a tech lab
yet. Yeah, if you get 2 gas geysers, you can kind of get stim and then combat shields. And then when you try and get your double upgrades and a factory and medevacs, you kind of run out of gas. So I really like, just Gumiho's timings so far. They're pretty good. He's getting 1-1 fairly fast, the same speed as the Zerg. And, he has a pretty good army.
He does, and it looks like he's going to try to be aggressive with it. Sent half of his army, or actually a large chunk of his army to the top side of the map. Do you agree with this kind of a push here, or do you think the Zerg at all times should be able to defend this off relatively easily?
Well, if they see it coming, they will, of course, make a round of units.
Sure.
I really like how Gumiho did it. He snuck around, and it just happened to work out that it was like 5 seconds before speed finished. So if he can kind of get in a really good location behind the minerals, where the Zerg can't attack cost effectively, it should work out really good for Gumiho. Just forcing the Zerg, the Zerg only has 56 drones right now. He probably wants, to have like 70 or 80 as early as possible. So this is really screwing up the Zerg's timings.
Yeah, and it's pretty darn hard to engage a Marine army like this with the Lings because, of course, the Marines are naturally going to be positioned in a choke point, whether it's behind the minerals, in between gases or something. But it looks like Coca able to hold that off. Let's look at what happened there. 56 to 53 is the Harvester count. Who would you say is ahead right now at this point in the game?
Well, I'd say if I was Gumiho in this position, I'd be feeling pretty good. The only thing is that he didn't quite get his third up as fast as he would have liked. I think
that's a good point.
If you're not going to get attacked, you should get your third up as soon as you're saturated, as soon as you have minimum saturation on your main and your expo. So, Gumiho probably would have wanted to take his third up like 10 SCVs ago, like maybe 2 minutes earlier. Maybe while he was pushing out, he could have transferred over there. So it's a bit late now that it's got delayed by creep, so that's always annoying. And the Zerg, he has really good creep spread. He's getting his 2-2 upgrades and infestors, so I'd say both players are, happy with the way the game's going.
Now, in the general ZVT matchup, one of those challenges is actually denying the creep of your Zerg opponent as a Terran player. And we saw Gumiho, not really, he kind of formulated a push right there. But again, that could have been easily scouted. What's your go-to when trying to deny creep and keep the Zerg from going too crazy?
I find that I don't think you can really do anything about it if you go fast triple command center and double upgrades. Gumiho could have, with that push that he did, he could have gone through the middle and cleared out the creek, but he tried to sneak attack, and I think that the sneak attack worked out a lot better because the Zerg would have started making Lings, faster if he had gone through the middle, and then he would have lost all the Marines before he even got to the Zerg's base.
All right, so we see. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know how to deal with creep. That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I've seen some fancy stuff with the Raven and Banshee, but that's like a lot of investment, and you're not spending that gas and other stuff you might want to spend it on. Have you ever tried that, or do you think it's a solid strategy?
Yeah, I've actually been opening fast Banshee and into triple command center as my kind of go-to TVZ build. It seems to be able to stop any aggression, and you can macro up.
Yep.
And if you make like 3 Banshees, you can stop creep spread, which is good.
And that kills queens pretty darn fast. 3 Banshees. I think, is that 3 volleys, I want to say, to kill 1 queen from 3 Banshees?
Yeah, and I think 4 Banshees is 2 volleys, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. Sounds right.
Somewhere around there. But
so
yeah.
take him down pretty fast.
We see the creep getting pretty crazy here for Coca. At the 13-minute mark, it's already approaching his opponent's like army. A little bit surprised Gumiho hasn't tried to scan and maybe clear out some creep. Can you think of anything, any reason why he hasn't done that yet?
Form. I don't know. It's just pretty, you know, like the creep's just gonna come back again if you clear it out.
Yeah.
It seems kind of pointless to waste a scan to kill 5 creep tumors, and you're not even at the center of the map yet. So I don't know. It's like frustrating.
So we see a fast Ling Infestor style here from Coca. +3 weapons is on the way. Greater Spire already on the way. Really fast Hive from Coca. I'm not sure if Gumiho even knew about this. No, he hasn't even scanned yet. Are you surprised by this? Do you think Gumiho should have spent a scan onto the main base of his opponent?
He should know what's coming. It looks like he's just gonna try and go for a timing attack once he maxes out. It sucks that he doesn't have combat shields yet.
Oh, does he not?
But he has a pretty good, not bad unit composition. He has some Marauders to run forward and try and, you know, snipe the Infestors and tank damage. And he has 5 tanks.
Counterattack.
Not a bad amount.
A lot of Lings sneaking into the Terra main base. Gumiho not raising one of his supply depots. Ling streaming into the 3rd and trying to get into the natural expansion, but Gumiho creating a little bit of a choke there, repairing that tank.
That's a nice wall.
Yeah, that's one way to do it. But I feel like that tank should eventually get sniped. But at the same time, there's an attack from Gumiho. Decent fungal growth there from Coca. And it looks like the Greater Spire just now finished. But Gumiho hitting before any Broodlords can get out. We'll have to see what kind of damage he can do here.
He needs to snipe that hatchery and run like hell, maybe.
So snipe it and get out is your idea?
Yeah. Well, maybe not. I mean, the Zerg just lost a lot of units to that counterattack, and he's making Broodlords right now. So I think if the Zerg tried to engage that army, he'd lose a lot more than he killed. But yeah, as soon as the Broodlords are done, he has to run away.
Yeah, I don't see any Vikings for Gumiho. Now,
yeah,
maybe. Are you a go-to? Are you a Viking go-toer? I guess is the best way to describe it against Broodlords. Or are you still trying to mix in ghosts in there? It's kind of a funk right now what Terrans do against Broodlords in the late game.
Yeah, well, I've been messing around, you know, with like the Banshee openings, and if I get Cloak and stuff, then I'll make a few more starports and making Banshees or Ravens. No, just to deal with the Infestor. So then, when they go Broodlords, I try and have like +1 or +2 air weapons.
Okay.
Already done.
Yeah,
and then
because to help your Banshees earlier. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, if I can, you know, if I'm set up to be able to make Vikings, then I will. You know, if I have 1 starport and no medevacs, I'll probably just try and get like Marine Thor and, you know, get a good engagement. But I definitely have better success when I get to mass Vikings.
Yeah, I hear you. Of course, you have to make sure to obviously spread out your Vikings so you don't get fungled too terribly.
Yeah.
But we see Coca has a pretty solid supply lead at this point, 198 to 156. There's still some Lings burrowed in his opponent's 3rd. So that run by from a lot earlier still having repercussions.
Yeah, been there for a long time.
And he's only mining a couple, just 1 gas, only 2 SCVs there. Is that on purpose? Should he be prioritizing gas right now?
Well, he does have 700 gas and no minerals, so it's not too big of an issue right now. But yeah, he definitely should be mining those. I'm sure it's not a. I'm sure it's a mistake. I like that the Gumiho's getting ghosts, so
we see nukes on the way too, Drewbie.
Yeah, this could get interesting. I feel like Coca is just gonna make, you know, 10 Broodlords, a few Corruptors, and attack move, and it's gonna be really hard for Gumiho to stop that.
He's gotta get those EMPs down on the Infestors.
Yeah, if he can get EMPs and snipes off, you know, he could turn it around, and the fight can be really one-sided for Terran as soon as Infestors are out of the picture.
Ooh. Looks like Gumiho loading up for a drop. I kind of like how he's also kind of preemptively splitting his units here. Me personally, I feel like that's pretty important to do in the ZVT matchup, because when you have a lot of banelings and Infestors coming forward, if you're splitting, you know, preemptively, that's less damage the Infestors are likely to do. So pretty cool to see that from Gumiho. We have a drop on the left-hand side, a drop at the top of the map. So Gumiho trying to do everything he can. We have a nuke on the way.
He's gonna go and nuke the 3rd base too. It's at the 4th.
Oh, nice eye.
Oh wow, he does not see that. Oh.
Canceling. Okay, he just now sees it.
That was a good cancel and everything. He dealt with that pretty good. Now the 3rd base is going down. Some good harass.
Where's the nuke?
I don't. I'm a bit worried for Gumiho here trying to take on the main army of Coca, though. I feel like he should keep just counterattacking and attacking all over the place.
He's stimming everything. He's not listening to you, and he's going to try to target down Zabrillas here. But Banelin's getting solid hits. Great fumble goes there from Coca, and Gumiho throwing a large part of his army away immediately, tucking his tail, and it looks like he's going to return back home. More Vikings probably there, or just stay defensive, let your drops do the damage?
Yeah, definitely. He just didn't quite build up enough of an army to deal with the Broodlords. You know, more ghosts, more Vikings.
Yeah,
maybe Thors instead of tanks.
He's still making medevacs here. I'm a little bit surprised by that. His 2 Vikings in the air. Of course, I guess you have to replenish your medevac count at one point. But again, it looks like he only has 1 starport with 1 reactor on the field, I think.
Yeah, I think he just doesn't have the income he needs to right now to be able to support all the, you know, Vikings and ghosts and Thors and Marines.
Yep, I hear ya.
He, yeah, just didn't get that 4th base up fast enough, and the harass, you know, killed a few SCVs, and you know, screwed up his gas income and stuff. So I don't know. I think he could have definitely, you know, expanded a lot faster. He did do that big timing push out at 200.
Yep.
And that did pretty good. I'm not sure if it killed the 4th base or not. I'm sure it did.
Yeah, I think it did.
And yeah, that counterattack just kind of slowed everything down and hurt his economy enough.
Split your Marines. God, a bunch of Marines just died at the 4th there. I don't know if
I saw that.
That hurt. But good news is he takes down the 4th. Bad news is he just lost his entire army, I think. Broodlord's advancing along the bottom side of the map. 2 Gumiho forced to lift off there. As a Terran player, what do you do at this point?
I don't know if there's much he can do anymore. I really like how Gumiho played, though. You know, you looked at the look all over the map. Coca's been rebuilding hatcheries.
Yes.
He's remaking his 3rd. He just he's remaking his 5th base at the bottom too, and his 4th is dead. So I think Gumiho did a really good job. Maybe just that one big push out where all his Marines got fungled, and you know, the Broodlords killed them all but didn't lose anything.
There's one way to do it if he can land this nuke, but there's an overseer. There's an overseer incredibly close. Oh my God, is he gonna get this? He sees it. Dang it! Oh, he saw it. Oh, and the nuke falls on nothing.
That would have been amazing.
That'd have been cool. I don't know if it would have put Gumiho back in this game.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Look, he's still sniping hatcheries. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, we see that.
You know, his mate's getting run over, and he's just stimming units out into the center of the map.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to do. I think, like, especially when your opponent's army is as immobile as the Zerg army with Broodlords involved. I'm certainly not against that counterattack stuff, but at one point you have to like defend your main base.
Yeah, I think that not enough Terran players play like this. Actually, like, I know whenever I see this big army like this, I try and fight it head on, and usually I'm just like, what the hell, Zerg's OP? I can't kill this army, but you know, if you kill all their expansions and then make 30 Vikings,
yeah,
handleable.
Handleable. I think we're making it a win.
Yeah,
it has a nice ring to it. I like it. But yeah, I mean, I feel like both those players played that pretty darn well. But again, Gumiho perhaps overextending here and there, perhaps not choosing the best engagements possible, perhaps a little bit of a later transition into that Viking count. And of course, I think that Ling run by was pretty darn devastating. Got a lot of damage done to his economy. You got to have that supply depot raised. But yeah, that was fun. Drewbie, thank you so much for casting with me. Any final thoughts about that game, or anything in general about life, or what?
No, I don't think so. Nothing to add. That was fun casting with you. Thanks. Hopefully we can do it again sometime.
We absolutely will. Speaking of which, if you're watching this on the Root YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button if you want more, and stay tuned, because as the weeks go along, we're going to have plenty of content on this channel. Going to try to wrangle in players. Of course, right now there should be videos with Cats and with Drewbie. This one being the Drewbie cast on that Root YouTube channel. Of course, my name is Axeltoss. I want to say thank you for watching this, and thank you to Drewbie for hanging out with me and casting this game between Gumiho and Coca. And that's going to do it for this video. So please stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next one.
All right. See you next time.